Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Tuesday Night Live podcast from the range with your host, John G. Johnson.
I don't know what that's about. All right, ladies and gentlemen, can you hear me? I hope I don't sound like that. I hope I don't sound like that. We are doing something a little different tonight. We are working from our home studio. John Diamond, thank you very much for being here. John, how do I sound? Do I sound like that guy just did the announcement, or did I sound a little different? Everything coming across okay, wise, sound-wise. I hope so. 5 by 5, beautiful. D. Marshall, thank you for being here. Appreciate it very much. Sounds good. Thank you. Thank you. A little different this evening. We are working from our home studio. I got a little bedroom here, and I went ahead and put a green screen up, and I ended up doing a lot of different stuff to do some stuff from home. I think it's going to work out better for me because I've got some stuff I'm going to be doing in the future that I work with students all over the United States with the masterclass, and now we've got this handgun training system that we're working with students throughout the United States, Arizona, places like that. So I have to work a little later, helping them become the best shooters they can be. Terry Holloway, thank you very much for being here. Appreciate you very much, man. We'd love to give shouts out to people who will go ahead and let us know they're on the call. Matra, thank you very much for being here. I appreciate you very much. Phil, thank you very much for being here, Phil. Thank you very much. So, got a little lighting system. You did some stuff. I'll show you a couple pictures behind the scene later on. Tomorrow sometime I'll share it on our Facebook account and our YouTube and everything else. Like, it's kind of fun. It kind of gives us the ability to just have the ability to do it here as well. We've been very fortunate. You guys have been loyal to us and allowing us to do these lives every week. We've had a couple of good videos lately. I don't know if you've seen them about the, if you're a YouTuber, we've got some big rocket ship stuff happening right now with our YouTube. We're getting a lot of views. This open carry is cutting a nerve for some people, I think. So lighting look good. Do I look like I am too white? I don't. I have my laptop here, and I'm not exactly sure if it's giving me a good representation of it. But appreciate you guys all being here. Speaking of being here, thank you. As always, we got past 40,000 subscribers. Now we're at 41, hopping to 42. And without you guys, we are nothing. But I want to remind you that sometimes we do not get, or you get unsubscribed from our channel. I don't know how that happens, but it happens. And before you cut off tonight, if you're on YouTube or you're on Facebook, or you make sure you hit those likes, subscribes, and all that stuff like that. The only way YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Rumble know that you like this stuff is not by you watching it. It's by you hitting that like, hitting that subscribe, hitting that bell icon. Thank you, Terry. I'm glad you're here, buddy. Terry Holloway, thank you very much. The only way YouTube knows is when you comment and when you actually hit that bell. The subscribers don't really mean anything. It's more of a vanity thing at this point in time. I am super excited how many people watch this live after it has been shut off. We get 100 people, 150 people watching this thing, and it's pretty cool, and we've been very fortunate. We're getting really close to almost 2.5 years of this stuff, so it it humbles me to think that I have something ability to touch people all over the United States, like Terry, like John, like Phil. These guys are, ways away from a small mom and pop shop in Cape Coral, Florida, but you're loyal every week, and I appreciate you very much. Don't forget about the ebooks. We got more ebooks coming out. If you have any opportunity or you need to know more about the ebooks, definitely check those out. They've got a lot of stuff. We still got those on sale for $2.99. I don't know if you guys remember our Facebook group, but we're putting that Facebook group out again, and it's called Handgun Training System. I have a group of OGs. And Mr. Phil there, Mr. Phil Sutherly, he is part of the OG group. And each week we all get together on Monday nights at 5:45. And I give them, the 4 guys that we have doing it right now, I give them a target each week. And then that target itself, we go through. Chris, thank you very much. Holy Mom and Pop, thank you, Chris. I appreciate that. So what it does for us, guys, it allows you to get a target each week from us. Then we give you a PowerPoint presentation of why the drill is important and what it will help you or solve for you. Then we will give you homework that you take to your local range and you shoot your target for me. Then you either take a photo of it and share it back to me with your cell phone, take a video of yourself doing a cell phone, and we have a software system that allows you to upload your target to the web. And then me and Jacob will identify what we think you're doing wrong and try to help you as much as possible. And you get a drill a week, and it's a membership-based thing, but I'm willing to give anybody the opportunity that would like to. But thank you, Phil. Phil says, my shooting has greatly improved since starting the training system. Wow, Phil, thank you very much. I did not pay Phil to do that. Phil pays me, so. But Phil's been loyal, and he's actually a better shot than he's ever been, and I'm very proud of him. I remember how we used to shoot. And Phil came from our master class. We did master classes all over the United States, and Phil was one of the students from the master class who extended his stay, basically, to become a better shooter. He saw the value in what we were giving to you. And the drills are pretty easy. The cool thing is, once you get into the handgun training system, and you get that drill a week, you get the archive drills. And there's probably 25 of them right now, 25 drills that have a PowerPoint presentation, a PDF of the drill, and the ability. And what I'm trying to do is make this Facebook community more of what we want, more people like that, and then actually having a Facebook page for the range itself. No problem, Phil. I appreciate you very much. You're a great shooter, buddy. But the concept is we got to get people to know about it. So what I'm willing to do, if you want to comment below and say, I'm interested, next Monday or this week sometime, I can give you a free entry to it. And there's a paywall. You do the first one, you check it out. There's a video, there's PowerPoint presentation. Take your thing to the range, shoot it. And if you like what we're doing, then you can get past that point. And, it's something that I want to do. I think it's a very valuable thing for students because most students are having problems with a couple different things. And we've always talked about this. The low and left is probably one of the biggest challenges. That's why our low and left book is so popular for people, because it takes the science of the low and left. It kind of shows you exactly what you're doing and allows you to fix it. And that's the key thing as a firearms instructor, is my job is to evaluate you, evaluate what you're doing wrong, educate you, and then motivate you. And that's what we do with all these drills, these techniques, because at the end of it, so shooting a pistol is pretty simple. It's just a lot of little small things we got to put together properly, or we're going to have a problem. So that's my 3 commercials. I'm done now. So good evening, folks. Welcome back to Tuesday Night Live. If you don't know who I am, my name is John Johnson. I own and operate a firearms training facility in beautiful Cape Coral, Florida. And I specialize in you. I specialize in the first-time shooters, people just like you. And it helps you tremendously get better and better on your accuracy. We give you a lot of tips and tricks. If you haven't been to our YouTube channel, there's plenty of videos. I think we're at 751 firearms training drills, techniques, how-tos. There's playlists all over the place to get you become the best shooter you can be. I try to solve your problem before you start picking up bad habits. So it's very important that you start understanding what you do. Once you understand what you're doing wrong, it's pretty simple to solve it. It's when you don't know what you're doing wrong where you waste a lot of ammo. So tonight we're going to talk about a topic that I see a lot of times in people. And there are a lot of people nowadays that are getting their concealed carry license, and they're getting their weapon, and they're getting their training, and they're carrying a weapon on a regular basis. But there's a lot of stuff that you don't think about that you may forget. And I want to break down a few things that I want you guys to start thinking about, which is very important for us. So tonight, I'm going to break down 10 things every concealed carrier forgets. Some of these are simple fixes. Some of them might surprise you. And a few may save your life. Stick with me tonight. Get a pad, get a pencil, get something to write with, get a drink, not alcoholic. Well, you can. You're at home. Have a beer. What the hell? I have a diet soda over there. And by the end of this live, you all have completed the concealed carry checklist that you can start using tomorrow. So these are things I started thinking about a while back because I know I did the rabbit of carrying. I've carried in my pocket for a long period of time. Probably the last 6 years, 7 years. I carried on my side for a long period of time. I worked in a corporate setting before I was a firearms instructor, and I pocket carried there an awful lot. I bag carried because I could carry a briefcase once in a while or a shoulder bag, and I bag carried because I had to wear a pair of slacks and me and slacks, yeah. Slacks, dress shoes, long sleeve shirt, and a tie. I did that for, I don't know, probably 10, 15 years. I was a mortgage broker. I worked at a bank. Heidi and I both worked at the bank. It was a bank, but it was not a real bank. It was a mortgage company that had their own funding, and we dressed like bankers. That was our deal. We had to, we were dealing with money, and my boss wanted us to dress like bankers, and we just kept it up. So when we moved from the one house to the other house, we moved all the ties with us. And this house, Miss Johnson allowed me to throw all those ties away, except 3 or 4. So I don't even have a tie anymore. And I have slacks. I think I wore slacks last year a couple times. Heidi had a Christmas party or something like that. And I think I went to a funeral and one wedding. But I have I've made my peace on weddings. I find out who's getting married, and if they're not anywhere related to me, I ain't going. All right. Secondary, if it's during hunting season and it's on a Saturday night, it's during opening day or on the weekends, I ain't going. And third, and the most important, is what kind of cake are they going to have? Because you get married with a fruit cake, you got a problem. And I go. I go to weddings for two things. One, to put up earmuffs on the gift table. I think it's the funniest thing ever. Is getting married, you put earmuffs on the table. Now I own a gun store, so people know I do it. So that's my one thing. And I go for wedding cake. And the last couple of weddings I went to were friends of families that I knew for a long period of time. And both those little girls, Heidi and I babysitted when they were little, and both of them had stupid fruit cakes. One had cupcakes, which I thought was pretty cool, but the other one had fruit cake, like some fruit inside the cake thing. And I took a big bite out of it. I was like, so the Heidi's maid of honor's daughter's getting married, and she's already asked what kind of cake you're having. And those two are not cake people. So they're not even having cakes. They're doing some kind of cupcake or thing. So I'm going to go to it because it's close family. And it's not during hunt season. All right. So number one, is your holster good? A lot of times people tend to buy a bunch of holsters, or they wear a bunch of holsters, and they're trying to find the right holsters that's going to work for them. Now, in my opinion, this is probably the most important thing as a concealed carry holder, is getting the right holster that will hold the gun, retain the gun, but easy to draw, easy to put back in. And now with open carry in Florida, we got to have some retention to it. When you conceal carry, no one knows you have a weapon on you. But when you have a retention holster, a lot of those things take time and discipline to get the weapon out in a timely manner. Because a lot of those are pushed down and pull out, or they're pushed down and bend towards you. Conceptually, what it is, guys, it's trying to stop someone from walking up behind the cop or the person and pulling the gun from their holster. So these retention holsters are not cheap. But you're carrying a gun on a regular basis for your livelihood, being a deputy or sheriff or police department, and those things have to be in there for the public's safety and concern. That gun, Jeannie, thanks. That gun itself needs to come out in a timely manner, as well as go back in a timely manner. But a lot of people don't spend enough time learning their holster well enough. So what we need to think about the holster as a system, because the holster can't go on the body without getting a good quality belt. And a good quality belt won't work with a cheap ass holster. But a good quality holster will not work with a cheap ass belt. So when you start getting these systems down, it's a system. I wear a heavy leather belt. I've done that for years. I went to Buck Holsters at one of the gun shows, and they gave me a nylon stiff nylon belt. It was and that rock. Hey, Kurt Richards, thank you very much. Gene Morris, thank you very much for being here. Both those holster and belt combo needs to be there and needs to work. And you need to be able to get these set up to work with you, whether you're sitting down or you're standing up. And then we start talking about, am I going to appendix carry? Am I going to, most people who are going to open carry, which I don't know many people are going to do it, but let's just say they are. Majority of that's all three to 4 o'clock area on the body, obviously right-handed, and obviously on the other side, you want to be having it there. You want to make sure that you're able to get the gun out, get the gun in, practice enough that you get it down to a science. You know, pulling a holster, bringing it up, finding the sight system as you retain your sights and cut the shots. Thank you, D. Marshall 34. Appreciate that. Core Essential Belts. Yeah. Those belt systems like that are so good. And the cool thing about those belt systems is I kind of like feel like a fireman once in a while. So when the pants go down, the belt is up there long enough that you can just step right into it and pull them right back up. It's kind of easier product to work with, and it makes it so much. So I know we all have holsters in our closet. I know we all have holsters in our drawers that we've tried in the past. And this is something that people don't do enough of. And they're not inspecting their holsters either. Remember, these Kydex holsters with these screws and these reverse thread things and leather and Kydex together and leather holsters themselves. I read a story a while back where a guy had a leather holster and he got into the car and that leather holster had a lip on the upside of the body, which they put that blocks the fat roll from getting grabbed by and somehow or another, after wearing that forever, that ear started folding down a little bit. And when the guy got into the car and sat down in the passenger seat of the car, that leather tag got pushed into the trigger well. And when he went to go pull his seatbelt, it pulled the trigger in the car. Now it shot the bullet. It shot the seat. It burned his ass, but he didn't get hit by the bullet. And when you looked at the holster, he took a picture of, who the hell be wearing that stupid thing? It would look like a dog toy chewed on it or something. A dog chewed on it. So he got lucky, very lucky. But you got to inspect, you got to look, you got to make sure you find the right holster. You got to spend some time. Now, how do we find the right holster? Well, you go to the gun show. You go to the gun show and you walk around and you bring your gun, and a lot of those holster manufacturers will let you bring your gun out and they'll let you put it in the holster. They'll let you put a bag together. They'll let you do all that stuff you need to do. But at the end of it, you're going to buy the right thing. Going on Amazon, that's that drawer of shit you got over there. That's all the Amazon holsters that you bought from here or there, at the gun store here or there, and you wear it for 3 days. You're not going to know it's a good holster until you wear it 6 months. And then you're going to buy an awful lot of them. And you buy that one that looks good, wonderful, great, great, great. Hey, the ladies know all about this, right? Those red shoes, you got to go with that red dress to go to the wedding. Where are those red shoes at now? You know where they are at the wedding? They're on these 2 fingers right here. Because you carry them around the rest of the night. Because you ain't wearing them. They match the outfit, but they ain't wearing them. That's not what we want to do with the holster. So number 1, you need to check your retention. You need to check the holster. You need to check the system. The system needs to be one complete piece. And the more it is, drawer, box, and bag, D. Marshall 34 says. Yes, sir. Me too, buddy. Me telling the difference for me is I have a $5 holster box in my shop. I just keep throwing them in there. I get more people bringing me holsters on a regular basis because they've got shitload of them and they don't know what to do with them. So they're tired of them. And their wives tell them, get them the hell out of here. So that's what they do. Number 2, and this is one that I've done myself. It's carrying without a full magazine check or a spare mag. I'm guilty of this. I used to carry my Glock 19. I used to carry it, Glock 19, one 15 round magazine, and I carry another 15 round magazine in my pocket. Well, after so long of doing that, they then get so damn heavy. And I don't know what I'm not the thinnest guy in the world. So when these pants I wear go past a certain point, I may have a wardrobe malfunction that we don't want. So I have to be very careful of how much weight I put around certain things. So carrying that extra magazine with you, you got to put that in a holster. Then you got to put your gun in a holster. So now you're carrying this whole thing. And what it does, it fatigues you. It fatigues you to the point where you do not want to carry because it's a pain in the ass. And then what tends to happen at that point in time, if I'm not going to carry it today because of this. I'm not going to carry it today because of that. And then by the time you do, because my gear wasn't set properly, you understand? My gear wasn't set properly. My holster wasn't set properly. So at the end of it, I was having excuses why I wasn't carrying my big Glock 19 with 15 rounds in it. And then the world started changing and we all started getting these hybrid, high capacity, like the 360, the SIG 365 started it all. But I've always been a Smith & Wesson man. So when the Shield came out, the very first Shield came out, it was direct competition of the Glock 43. And that Shield had a better trigger than the 43. And I started carrying the Shield. And the Shield itself was a thinner product. I got a leather holster. I got a leather belt. And I could wear that thing, pull my shirt over top of it, and no one ever know I had it on me. But I didn't like carrying a magazine, extra magazine in a holster. So I put the extra magazine in my pocket. And carrying that extra magazine around with me got to be a pain in the ass as well. And I almost had to, because, put all your stuff in your right pocket, but the magazine had to go in the left pocket. And I would have to put that upside down. Terry Holloway, thank you very much for being here. And put it upside down so the bullet itself, and we're guys, we get shit in our pocket, we get dirt, we get lint, so I'd have to go in and de-lint that magazine all the time because it just had a bunch of crap in it. And I was very diligent about oiling my gun because when you carry a gun on your side, guys, the sweat from your body going against that gun causes things to rust. So you have to be kind of careful on that. But when you're carrying them extra mags, one of the challenges I had is I would go and think I had a full magazine with me, and somehow or another, one would pop out while it was in my pocket, or two would pop out in my pocket. Now, when you have an 8-round magazine and you're missing 2 mags, you put yourself in a bad position, right? Two bullets, you put yourself in a bad position. Now, when you have a Glock 19 with 15 rounds, you can miss a couple. But when you have an 8-round magazine and you're missing a couple, now you get yourself into revolver style fashion, right? And people go, oh, bad guys, we only need one. Yeah, you only need one if there's only one bad guy. But when there's 4 or 5 bad guys, what are you going to do? I don't know if you guys seen that video of the pawn shop, right? They're somewhere. I don't know where it is. I was on YouTube. The guy, they backed a vehicle they stole through the columns of the store, broke down the front window. The guys at the counter and 26 people, masked men, come running through the doors. Guys just standing there like, what the? Even if you had a firearm, what are you going to do? So he just backed away and let him steal everything because at that point in time, he had no other option but to take it, So that's why a revolver seems like a great idea until you look at a situation where there'd be multiple bad guys. What are you going to do at that point in time? So you need to make sure that if you're carrying your spare mag and if you're carrying the stuff you need to do, you need to make sure that you have a clean gun, because the actual lint in your pocket, the dirt in your pocket, things like that can cause malfunctions. I carry a little Diamondback 9mm. It's in my pocket on a regular basis. And I bet that hasn't been cleaned since Jake cleaned it last time, which was probably a month and a half ago. So I can tell you that I bet that's got a lot of dirt in it. And I bet if I shot that tomorrow, which I plan to do, it probably would run, but I'm not sure if the next one would go in. And then you got to ask yourself this. You're carrying your gun on a regular basis. Are you 100% confident that if you were to jerk the trigger tonight in a defensive situation, it would fire? Now, most of us are going to say, oh, yeah, definitely, yeah. No, you don't. You're not 100%. Because if you're not 100%, you need to be 100%. And I questioned myself when I did this thing this morning and I looked at this. I did not shoot that 9 yet, so I'm going to do it tomorrow on video just to kind of give me some clarity. I am 89.9% sure that weapon will cycle all the rounds in the magazine. 89.9. Almost 90%. There's a 10% chance of maybe not. And here's our problem, really. Think about this. This is one of the problems. You are standing in the range and no one is shooting at you. You're not in a high defense situation. Your heartbeat isn't running 190 beats a minute. You're not in fear for your life. Do you think some of that could cause you some inaccuracy issues? That's why we tell all the students, we work with all the teachers, and everybody in the industry tells you what? Muscle memory. We just got to be able to do it. We can't have to think about it. Now, what, John, tell me? Right thumb over left thumb? Get your grip right? Wait a minute, bad guy. Wait a minute. In high stress, all that shit goes out the window. And the worst part about it is your body will deem what it finds unnecessary. So in other words, maybe grip, maybe tunnel vision, maybe, lack of grip, lack of control. And if you have a weapon that needs to be really controlled because it doesn't like lip bristing or anything else like that, I would tell you, you need to be 100% confident that the pistol you're grabbing is going to fire. And these are the little things that concealed carry people don't think about once in a while. They assume. We all know what that happens. We all assume. All right, Ben's saying rotate your ammo every year. Yes, max 2. That's true, Ben. Ben has been shooting an awful long time, but I can tell you this. A lot of guys don't do that. They look at hollow points. Hollow points can be a buck around. You need to shoot hollow points in your gun. If you're buying a pistol today, and it's not a Smith & Wesson, and it's not a Glock, and I'm not a Glock guy, but I am a Smith guy. Those two, I would not doubt they'll run any hollow point you put in them. But a lot of guns don't like hollow points. Because a hollow point has a caved or conical front end that gets scratched up. You had a feed ramp that every bullet goes into. And if you're using ball ammo through your weapon, which is a round nose bullet, it's going to slide up that feed ramp pretty simple and easy. But when you're shooting hollow points, which are normally a lighter grain bullet, right? Lighter grain bullet 95 or something like that. And they're hot rounds. They go really fast. But if your weapon doesn't like it for some reason or another, and you don't know that, and then you're throwing bullets in there, you should be carrying anything without actually shooting some hollow points through it as well. And yes, they're $1 a round. Who cares? It's your life you're talking about. And why is a hollow point important for us? As concealed carry holders, we need to have a hollow point because we are responsible for our bullet till it hits the ground. So that bullet, that ball ammo bullet you have punches through the bad guy, it could go through somebody else and somebody else and somebody else. Where a hollow point punches in, expands, and stops the collateral damage. As a concealed carry holder, we're responsible for that bullet until it hits the ground. Chances are, a large percent chances are, that bullet will not go through the bad guy. It'll stay inside the bad guy. That's why you want hollow points. You want hollow points for home defense purposes and out and about. You have loved ones in your home, you understand? And if you're shooting at a bad guy, that bullet will be slowed down by the cavity that's in the front there. Whether it fills up with drywall or couch foam or what. All right, I'm going to say this. The couch will not stop a bullet. So when you watch the movies and they jump behind the bullet, jump behind the couch, I don't know why they do that. I think it's funny, but that will not stop a bullet. So make sure you're paying attention to the hollow points, making sure you're carrying a spare mag if you're doing it. Make sure you're changing out your ammo on a regular basis, like Ben just said. That was a great tip, Ben, because a lot of people do it. And make sure you're shooting hollow points on a regular basis. If you're buying a gun, i.e. A lot of different weapons that only like a certain kind of ammo, don't do that. Don't buy a gun. Pay attention to reviews. If someone says, "Why, this is a great pistol, but it only shoots 165 grain, blah, blah, blah. I can't get it to run anything else." Is that what you want? Get a Glock, get a Smith, get a Taurus, for God's sakes. They're all going to run rounds, no problem. It's when you get to the high-end pistols when there's problems. Pay $3,000 for a pistol and it jams. Yeah. And if your pistol comes with multiple springs in the box, there's a problem. That means it's picky. It's not going to like certain ammo. And trust me, a $150 gun and a $3,000 gun in the wrong hands, you're not going to know the difference anyways. So don't buy high-end pistols thinking they're going to make you high-end better shooter. Let me tell you something. I've said this many times before. I could get a Les Paul. I could get a Les Paul guitar. I'm still going to sound like crap because I don't know how to play a guitar. But if I gave Eddie Van Halen a $5, rest in peace, Eddie. But I gave Eddie Van Halen a garage sale fine, he could make it scream, and you wouldn't even believe it was a $5 guitar. All right. Number 3. There we go, Gene. Thank you, baby. Number 3, practice drawing with the clothes you're actually going to wear. We all could drive around and have no cover wear and be able to do what we need to do. But when you have to actually pull the clothes off your holster and pull the gun and get into a defensive situation, you need to. So if you're going to be a church member security team and you have to wear a coat because the church doesn't want you to look like a bum, and now you have to pull that coat off and get to the holster, well, you better do that. If you are normally wearing a light shirt or cover wear or whatever it is, these stupid ball holsters that women show on the internet and the garter holsters, all this, that's funny. That's all bullshit stuff. That's not real. But if you are going to practice, and be honest with you guys, there isn't a lot of places that you can go and practice your draw, stroke, and fire. Now, we can have you come to us when we know you and we've done a training class here or there, but taking a good tactical draw from the holster class is beneficial for everybody, because each time you change a shirt, a pair of pants, a leggings, whatever you're going to wear, guys, you got to try and draw from each thing you do. Unfortunately for the ladies, it is very challenging to find the right thing that's going to work for you the best. And no, a purse is not the option. Never put a gun in a purse, because that has to have containment, and then you got to unzip it to get to the bad guy, or get your gun out to get to the bad guy. It becomes more of a challenge for you anyways. Purse carry makes sense, and they make a lot of money selling you women purses with zippers on them. There's a zipper on the back of this purse we're going to put a gun in. So now the bad guy has to tell you 15 minutes before he sees you that he plans to rob you, for you can unzip that purse and get to it in that timely manner. You should have the gun on your body just like a man has it on his body. Yes, ladies, you're going to have to go up a pant size. Yes, you're going to have to wear shirts that are a little bigger than normal. But do you want to protect yourself, or do you want to look cute? You make that decision. I think a woman with a firearm, they're all sexy. So you don't need to worry about how you dress. You need to worry about protecting yourself as much as you can. So practicing with the clothes you actually plan to wear. How important is that? Very. Ignoring carry comfort and concealment. So what ends up happening here is people pick a small pistol for the purpose of being comfortable, but they're not really thinking about the accuracy point about it, if that makes sense. Kind of ignoring carry comfort and conceal choices. We need to be careful that we don't print. We don't want a big holster. We don't want a big gun, but we don't want too small of a gun either. We want to make sure that we're dressing appropriately so we're not really gaining any attention to ourselves. We want to make sure that we're not printing when we bend over and tie our shoes, or reaching up and getting a can of beans, or wearing a jacket and it shows. We need to adjust ourselves. You need to get that full-length mirror, ladies and gentlemen. As a young man going to bars back in the day when no one had a big bathroom, they all had 5x7 bathrooms. You could always tell the ladies who had a full mirror and the guys who had a full mirror, and the ones that only had a mirror that went up to here. Because at that point in time, guy would go out, have a red shirt on, but he'd have purple plaid pants on. Hello, that's not the way you want to do it. So you want to make sure that somebody's there to help you and check you, to make sure that you are not printing or you're not showing. Beauty of Florida now with the open carry, even though you don't plan to open carry, printing has never really been a problem in Florida. Accidental display never's been a real problem in Florida, but now it's not going to be a problem at all. The only challenge you have is if you're going to Walmart to get your weekly groceries and you bend over and tell you shooting the gun shows, and they got that sign on the front door that says no open or no firearms in the store. Now they can ask you to leave. And if you don't leave, you're trespassing at that point in time. So that kind of causes a little problem. We never want to let anybody know we're carrying. If we keep our tactical advantage the way we want it, we will never, ever have to worry about that. And I think that's kind of one of those things that 90% of people will think of the same. Because you look at Michigan, you look at Georgia, you look at Texas. I haven't been to a ton of those places. Been to Georgia a couple times. I've never been to Michigan. None of the people who've been to Michigan and Texas itself. Hardly do you ever see open carry. Well, most of the big corporations, Walmart, Home Depot, Lowe's, Perkins, all the places like that, don't allow it. They don't allow it for the employees. They don't allow it for you, because the one person that's sitting there in the restaurant that feels uncomfortable about the firearm. In this day and age, it's not a political thing. It's more society thing. We cannot put ourselves in a position where we make people uncomfortable. I know it sounds silly for somebody to say that I'm not open to carrying because of hurting someone's feelings. But at the end of it, as a Second Amendment person, as someone who wants to get as many people into shooting as I can, if someone's uncomfortable about it, when someone sees a firearm, they don't see law-abiding citizen with their concealed carry. Firearms equal criminal, and it puts people in a bad position. So the last thing we want to do as people who enjoy our rights and our freedoms of shooting a pistol is to make someone uncomfortable. We need to educate them, let them understand that this is not a deadly weapon. It's just a tool, and the tool needs to be operated by a craftsman. You don't know how many classes I start out every day telling people that, because they live in cities, in states, in the United States, where they've been criminalized so much that at the end of it, they look at it as a deadly weapon. And technically, it's not a deadly weapon. It's just a tool, and a tool needs a craftsman, if that makes sense. All right. Number 5 is not having your permit, not having your paperwork on you. In Florida, ain't no joke here. The permitless carry is one that you got to have your ID with you if you're carrying a gun. If you're carrying a gun, they have no way of knowing who you are. It's just like you driving around town without your driver's license. I just don't understand why people would leave the permit at home. You worked your ass off to get it. It weighs nothing, but you'll carry 15 credit cards. It's the size of a credit card, but it's important. It's not a form of ID, but it's important for you, because if you're carrying without that, they can't look it up, guys, and you're going to run into a problem here. So have your paperwork. Saying you forgot your permit or ID or certain states, also check your expiration dates. Well, what about your expiration date on your driver's license? What about your expiration on your concealed? They only last for 7 years. So you can actually get to a point, and I had my buddy last week call me that he went to go buy a gun somewhere. Now, he doesn't live here, he lives up north, but he wanted me to help him with his paperwork to get to Florida. Of course, I was going to do it, but he didn't even realize it. He'd been carrying for 3 or 4 weeks. That's more than that, probably a month and a half. Well, he went through the time, and we were able to just get him in that he didn't have to do everything over again. But once you get past a certain point, it's 7 years, 2 months, and a day. And then you got to do all the paperwork over again. So pay attention to it. Or better yet, keep buying guns. The gun store is going to tell you when your permit's about to expire. If you're only buying one every 3 years, that's not going to be good anyways. And then I always ask somebody, they will buy a brand new gun. You're going to buy a brand new gun and put that old ammo in it? You got to buy all brand new ammo for a new gun. Just kidding. So make sure you have your paperwork. Paperwork not on you or not accessible is not a good thing. It's not going to make the cops very happy, is it? No, it's not. All right. So number 6 is not mentally rehearsing what you need to do after a critical defense situation, what you need to do and say after a critical defense situation. If we do not work on a system for us, Miss Johnson and I, Jacob and Johnny, and now Hillary, if we go anywhere, we always get a place that we are going to meet if we get separated. And we're going to make sure we know that very carefully. So we have the rehearsal done. When the kids were little, we had a 4-bedroom house. Johnny's job was to go get Jacob and take him out the water softener window, which I took the screen off their window. And if they ever heard a gunshot or anything else in the home, not to get in the middle of it, but get out of the house and go to the neighbors to call 911. Have you researched with your family what to do in these incidences? And we need to think about this, because if you're in a situation where you've had to use your weapon in a line of defense, most likely you did not have time to put earmuffs on. So now your ears are ringing. You most likely have to do it in a low light condition. So the flash of that gun or the powder burning out of that barrel is going to blind you. You're going to get some starburst in your eyes because you're shooting that gun in low light conditions. And then third thing is, what do you think your heart rate's going to be if you had to use that gun in line defense? So you put yourself in a position. So you need to rehearse what you're going to say and retreat to a safe location. And you need to be very careful what you're going to do with the firearm in that scenario. Imagine if you opened your door up and you had not put the firearm down yet, and now it's the cop at the door. You don't think that could happen? It surely could. You know, 911 officers, you know what they're going to ask you? Where's the firearm? Is it put down? Right? So in that scenario, when the bad guy came in your front door and you say the wrong words, it can haunt you as well. As in, the bastard came in, I had to K him. I had to kill him, right? Is that what you want to say? How about, I was the victim. I'll be happy to cooperate with you when I'm in presence of my attorney. And that stops all questioning. If you want to think about this, we need to get down to a calm mental script. Stop. Assess what's going on. Escape if you have to. Call 911, then secure the weapon. There's going to be some questions asked to you that you need to say yes or no to. Is he still in the home? Yes. Is he still with us? I don't know. Because you don't know. You're not over there. You don't know. Because if he is still with us, guess what you have to do? You have to save him. Because if you say, yes, he's still, and then you go over there and all of a sudden they're going to want you to do safety stuff for him. And that's not your job at that point in time. You went through a critical defense situation. You put yourself in a position where you're in a high stress situation. You're about probably 4 or 5 breaths for being in shock. Should you be saying anything to the cops except, I was the threat, please send me help, I had a critical defense situation, or I had a home invasion, and I had to use my weapon in line defense, and please send me help. That's all you say, folks. Say too much, get yourself in trouble. These little rehearsals will make a big difference when shit hits the fan, because remember what I told you, muscle memory, and your body's going to deem what it finds unnecessary, and tunnel vision happens an awful lot. You don't believe me? Think about the last time you got in a car accident. Did it go fast or did it go slow? It was slow. You could almost tell everything that happened until the very end, and it stopped. Then it all came together. Number 7, you have no first aid knowledge. You have no tourniquet plans. You have no gunshot training, right? Getting bullet hole put in you, learning all this stuff. It's very important to stop immediate bleeding control. There are a lot of different classes you can take, but having just a first aid kit in the home, maybe some clotting solution to clot a bullet hole, maybe chest wound cavity bandage, those things like that. Adding these tourniquets, adding these kits is going to help you tremendously, and not just adding them, but understanding how to use them. There are those small first aid companies that do classes on a regular basis. It just makes it so much easier. We cannot count on the paramedics or the cops to get there. Remember, the firearm is for now. 911 is for later. The cops are for 14 minutes to 15 to 18 minutes away. The firearm is for now. And remember that, please. That's why we talk about this. The cop's job is not to save your life. The cop's job is the right to report and draw the chalk line. It's your job to save your life. It's your job to have the firearm in your home to protect yourself. Very important, guys. Yeah, number 8, situational awareness. Route planning. Every day. We want to make sure that we need to make sure we understand what's going to happen. We need to, although that route between the parking garage and the other side of the building only is 100 yards, but it goes on the back side of the building where there's an alley and it's just not safe, and but you don't want to walk all around the building. Maybe it's going to rain here and you don't want to get caught in the rain, but is that the safest place to be? So situational awareness, figuring out the best route plans for you, understanding your situation. Boys are little. When they were little, and to this day, anytime we go anywhere, I'm always facing the door. I'm always paying attention to the entrance and the exit of the building. And I try to watch my family's safety the best I can. Now, normally Jacob has a firearm, but Jacob doesn't go to dinner with us like Johnny and Hillary do. And Johnny's a great shooter, but Johnny's never been a carrier. He just didn't think he needs it. And that's cool with me. They have weapons. Hillary's a good shooter, and Johnny is too. But at the end of it, I want them to have it if they want it. If they don't, I don't want them to have it because they're not going to practice. Now, Johnny and Hillary and Heidi and Jacob, we all have our licenses and we all carry. But when time comes, Miss Johnson's a school teacher, so she doesn't get to carry very much, and she's normally with me. So that's scenario, but there's a firearm on her bedside when it's necessary, and she's able to use it. And she's a pretty damn good shot. So that's the scenario. But we always have that plan in place. What they say, we need to make sure that if tunnel vision starts or high stress starts, we need to fall back to our plans of exit. We need to scan for cover as much as possible. A lot of people watch TV and that's how they learn to shoot a pistol. But on TV, all that shit is fake. It isn't real, right? So we need to pay attention to concealment and cover because they are two different things. Concealment hides you from the threat. Cover will stop a bullet. And sometimes we need to maybe find that when you're in a situation like that. We need to notice suspicious behavior. We need to look and identify a lot of stuff. I was 8 years old. My mother and I were out at Woolworths in the mall, in the Edison Mall. And something told me of that guy was canvassing my mother. And I didn't even know what canvassing was at the time. But he just kind of like kept like going around my mom. My mom always carried a purse on her arm like this. And she just hung it on her arm. And my mom had got this weird sense about him. And I didn't kind of communicate with her. She didn't communicate with me. But I went over and put my arm in that bag with her. And then he kind of came and walked off the other way, and we never saw him again. And my mother says, did I said, yeah, I don't know. It made me feel weird. It looked like he was trying to take your bag. And I thought I would just put my arm in it. And she goes, I felt the same way. And it was just that young, stupid thing I did, but that stuck with me the rest of my life. And I watch people on a continuous basis. And it's part of the thing you need to do. That situational awareness makes it so important for us. And we need to scan and identify what threats are available. If you can pay attention, they say it to you. They tell you exactly that they're bad, right? You get to pay attention to it. Most people are oblivious of it. You go through the mall. Have you ever watched the YouTube videos of the people walking in the fountains at the mall? The mall, Lee County Mall, the Edison Mall used to have water fountains all up and down there. They had to shut the damn things down because people would look at their phones and walk into the fountains. They'd walk into the water and fall in it. That's why they had to do it, because people were getting their necks broke. They were getting their arms broken. They're trying to sue the bank. They're trying to sue the mall. If your dumbass walks into the canal because you're paying on the phone, that's not the mall's fault. So it's part of that deal. Situational awareness, guys. All right. Number 9 is skipping maintenance. How about when's the last time you were at the range? When's the last time you were at the range and practiced some malfunction drills? Not have a jamming gun, but actually practice or set the gun up for malfunctions. What happens if you're shooting one round, next round, third round, and you get a stovepipe? Or you get a jam? Or you get a double feed? Well, double feed is one of the most challenging ones, because not only you got the round pushing up on the other round that's trying to go in the gun, but you have binded up the magazine. So pushing the magazine button will not drop that magazine without ripping the shit out of it, right? But how about trying to practice some of that stuff? You have to set these drills up. You have to set up the malfunction stuff, because even the shittiest gun in the world doesn't malfunction that much. But when it does, you need to be able to fix it. It's like changing a tire. Many years ago, Miss Johnson and a bunch of girls went on a scrapbook retreat. And it was 5 girls, I think it was, and they were on Highway 27. And the young lady who was driving got a flat. And she had AAA. And through the midst of all this stuff, AAA couldn't get to those girls for an hour and 50 minutes. Then I told Miss Johnson many years ago, you don't know how to change tires. She's not a girly girl anyways, never has been. And she's done a lot of stuff. I convinced her the tile saw and any of the wood saws were dangerous as hell. And I did all the cutting. She did all the laying. We did tile floors. We did a wooden floor. She did them all, right? But when it came time for that hour and 25 minute or hour and 30 minute, hour and 40 minute, Heidi goes, bullshit. We're not waiting that long. My husband will kill me. So she got there and changed that tire. And those girls had no idea that she could do all that stuff. I was so proud of her. But that's the idea. You got to have the know-how to solve the problems you're going to have. So you need to clean your gun after every range trip. Do your malfunction checks. I would set up strongly some kind of maintenance reminder for yourself. If you're not training for malfunctions, when they happen, you're not going to know what to do. So I would tell you, the more you can spend with the problematic stuff that's going to happen, it's very hard to do a class and have a malfunction happen, because a lot of times they don't happen. But when they do, it's a stop everybody and we come take a look at it. Come take a look at it and see how we can solve it. And I think that's the easiest way to do it. You could get a double feed. I could kind of fix a double feed. I could fix a stovepipe. Maybe magically we could probably fake that one too. But they're not easy to fix, especially with the double feed, because it's so the worst time to learn to get a jam out of something is under stress. And that's the key thing. We need to remember that as much as possible. Maintenance, you got to get that gun maintenance on a regular basis. Now, I tell a lot of students, don't do anything to a firearm for the first 500 rounds, especially a Glock. Glock has this copper fouling lubrication that's in there. You want that to stay in the gun as long as possible. But I think a gun needs to be broken in. I think if you have to clean it and super lubricate it before it is shot. Now, the manufacturers tell you right off the bat, clean this thing. Don't shoot it without cleaning it. Well, if we have to clean it before we shoot it, then it's probably going to be a problematic thing for us. So definitely, you don't need to worry about that as much. But once you get it done now, you're close to us. Mr. Johnson, my son Jacob, has a thing he does on Sundays. Now, he will not clean your gun for you, but he will teach you to clean your gun. He teaches you to fish, ladies and gentlemen. He loves helping people, teach him to clean the gun. Now, he will clean people's guns for him. He doesn't mind doing that, and he will help out some people, but he thinks it's better to teach you to fish than fish for you, if that makes sense. All right, guys. Well, that is 10 things every concealed carrier forgets. If you caught yourself nodding along a few of these, that's a good thing. That means you've got some simple fixes that could put in place, and you can start tonight. Remember, carrying isn't just having a firearm on your side. It's about a mindset. It's about preparation. It's about responsibility. It's about the small details, like loose holster screws, forgetting your spare bag, skipping your maintenance checks. It can be all different things that you least expect. So here's my challenge to you this week. I want you to pick 2 of these, and I want you to really work on building the best system you can. Whether it is a practice drill, maybe getting a plan for you and your significant other. Maybe it's working on malfunction drills. Maybe it's doing a little bit more paying attention to your surroundings. There are a lot of different things you can do, but you need to start thinking more outside the box that although you're carrying a gun for you and your protection, you need to make sure you know exactly what to do with it on a regular basis. If you liked what you got tonight and you like the information we've given you, I would recommend that you hit that bell icon, that like and that subscribe button. And every time we have one of these Tuesday night lives, you would know because it will be, they'll send you a reminder on it. If you'd like to know more about the handgun training system, there'll be links down below in the description. And then we have that. I'm going to send out some invites to people for the handgun training group. We're going to put that group together. We're going to be student, and we're going to do a couple different lives for them as well. I think what we're going to do, and we're going to do a handgun training systems live on Mondays. And then we're going to do this one here on Tuesdays for the rest of the groups. And then we have a couple different things we're doing. Well, I appreciate each and every one of you always being here and hanging with me. Thank you very much. I'd like to go up and say thank you to each and every one of you that were on here this evening. John Diamond, thank you very much. D. Marshall 34, we appreciate you very much as always. Mantra, thank you very much. John Diamond again. Phil, as always. Terry Holloway. John Dogan, thank you. Chris Welch, thank you. How you doing, Chris? I hope you're doing well, buddy. He had some surgery done, so. Dimitri, there we go. What's up, buddy? Appreciate you very much. Ben Ball, thank you, Ben. Always. It's very nice to have you every week. Appreciate you being here. Gene Morris, thank you very much. As always, Gene. Love you guys. Kurt Richards, thank you very much. Thank you, Gene, very much for being here. Guys, if you like what we got going on, we appreciate you very much hitting that bell icon, like, and subscribe button. And we're here for you. So anything you have coming up that you want to get information on or want us to do a live on, we'd love to do it as well. And until next time, guys, God bless, be safe, and remember, you are your first line defense. I love you guys very much. God bless, be safe. Bye-bye. Good night.